for more analysis on those developments out of Brazil, then our international affairs editor, Philip Turle, joins me now on set. Good morning, Philip. So can you perhaps start by telling us what struck you most about those rather frightening scenes coming out of Brazil over the past 24 hours?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, Erin, these were really shocking pictures and images coming out of Brazil that I don't think there's anybody who can think that what was going on there was good for the country, good for democracy, and good for the future of the Brazilian people. There are a lot of questions today which have got to be answered. And first of all, who was responsible for this? We have those who believe that this election was stolen by Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who got 50.9%. Remember, it was 2 rounds on the 2nd and 30th of October. Jair Bolsonaro only got 49.1%. They say that he, in fact, won that election. It was taken away from them. It was the same as in the United States with Donald Trump 2 years ago, that this was a stolen election and they were going there to get back Jair Bolsonaro to his rightful position of president of Brazil and to get rid of the current administration which is running the country. But you can't run a country that way round. So who were these people that were doing it? Dissatisfied people who obviously thought that the election had been taken away, that had been orchestrated by forces behind the scene to go to this building and to cause the trouble that we saw in these images. Second question is, well, why was this allowed to happen? Who was in control of the police forces? Why did the authorities in Brazil not see this coming? We're 2 years after the events of the Capitol in Washington, D.C., which happened shortly after Joe Biden took office. This is an identical situation today. And there were not enough police and security forces around those buildings to prevent these protesters from trying to take control. That is one of the fundamental questions. Who was bought off in this? Were the security forces told not to take any kind of retaliatory measures to stop this from happening? All of that will have to be investigated by the Supreme Court. And another important question that needs to be answered is, why were the buses bringing in these people not stopped? And who was funding these buses? Who was paying for these supporters to come into Brasilia? They weren't all from the capital city. They've come from all over Brazil. So there's all these unanswered questions today, which I think are going to need a very, very deep investigation to make sure that the people responsible for this are brought to justice.
So, Philip, what do you think that these protesters were hoping to achieve with these riots?
Well, they were hoping to achieve a military coup in the country by camping outside military installations, pushing the military to take control. That was what they were hoping to do. The problem is that as you've seen these images, Aaron, of all these people in the building inside, they've all been filmed. They've all had their faces noted down. They're all going to face justice or some kind of retaliatory measures or legal pursuits by the justice system in Brazil. They're the ones who are going to suffer from this. It's not those who are pulling the strings. It's not Jair Bolsonaro. It's not his supporters who are close aides to him who are going to be in deep trouble. It's these people who are in this building who are going to face the worst charges. And that is the very sorry aspect of all of this. Luckily, the authorities have taken control, but I think a lot of questions today that remain to be answered, and also how much involvement is there of Donald Trump's advisors, like Steve Bannon, for example, who's very close to one of the sons of Jair Bolsonaro. What is the involvement of the United States in this and the supporters of Donald Trump, whether they were also pulling strings behind the scenes? So many, many questions which I think are requiring urgent answers.
And answers that we will be, of course, keeping an eye on here at France 24 as they come in. Philip Turle, thank you very much.